Previously on Oddjobs. Jassifer and Clover delved into the mucky lair of Zuria, finding that the dragon was not there. After inspecting the 3 tunnels leading from the main chamber, the twosome returned to the least terrifying of the 3, the treasure hoard. Just before them was a pile of coins that could change their lives if they were brave enough to steal it and hide it from their boss, Odessa. Unfortunately, before they could take a single cent, Zuria returned, and an ill-timed low roll on Goo's behalf revealed their position to the villain. Thankfully, they managed to convince her that they, like the kobold screaming around her feet, were huge fans of her work. So, when she revealed that the egg she bore had been taken by the town's guard, they proposed a new plan. Let them head back to the townsfolk to recover it and make amends for the theft. She agreed, and our heroes headed back into the swamp only to be confronted by the same ghostly spirits that had harried them along the way. And that's where we are right now. As you are thinking that, you hear something echo through the woods, through the mist that surrounds you.
Not again.
3 glowing orbs in the mist. One of them, I would say, within 60 feet of you. The others, a bit of a distance away.
You think these things have any kind of intelligence? Like we could ask one where an egg went?
I'll have her roll an Arcana check or a history check, some sort of intelligence base to see if she knows anything about these. That's only a 7. I mean, I don't really know much about spirits and stuff. These guys, maybe we can commune with them, but also maybe they'll just try and suck out our souls or something.
So far, they've only laughed. I'm gonna guess that they would have maybe said hey if they spoke.
We could try. I don't know. You see one of them, the closest one, is now kind of drifting in your direction slowly.
Do you think we should just make a break for it?
Up to you.
Follow my lead. I go crashing through the branches.
Okay, you bolt and begin to run. I'm going to say that's a dash action for lack of a better term. Your total dash action is 50 feet because you only run 25.
Actually, you know what? Instead of dashing, can I dodge?
Yeah, you can start moving and take the dodge action to give disadvantage.
I'm just going to try and, skirt around them in a way. I'm going to try to move through, but I want to be just kind of, evasive in my motions.
Okay. You begin to, not hiding anymore, make your way through the foliage and just trying to, be ready for any sort of attack. The moment you start to move without any stealth, this light locks onto you and just begins to glow brighter and flow through this mist with great speed. It quickly catches up on you and you see an arc of lightning shoot out at you. With disadvantage, that is a natural 1. The arc of lightning zaps between you and Clover. She manages to hop up and over it and lands next to you. The 2 of you begin to move. Let's roll initiative. And because it rolled a natural 1, I will roll its initiative with disadvantage.
Amazing. Nat 20.
Oh my god, okay. With a natural 20, this is kind of like getting a surprise round on this creature. It rolled the lowest out of the 3 of you. Clover rolled an 18. So the 2 of you, I will say, just act on your turn. I'm going to give you 1 action that this creature will not be able to react to.
Okay, then I think that Clover and I will make a run for it. I'm gonna put my hands on Clover's back and just kind of steering her through the woods using my dark vision to push her ahead, going, go, 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 go.
You begin to rush forward, Clover following your lead, stumbling as you push her forward. With a full round dash action, you can move just 50 feet, I believe, right?
40 is for me. My walking speed is 20 feet, so I move 40 on a dash.
Got it. You guys begin to run. And top of the round, it is your turn. You guys continue to run again. That puts you 80 feet. On this creature's turn, this will-o-wisp picks up speed and rockets through the mist, easily catching up with you. Its full dash is 100 feet, and so it literally whips around you, cutting off your path, sparkling with this electric sort of lightning energy. This clearly has more mobility than you. So running at this point would be challenging.
Looks like we're making a stand, Cotton Bottom. I draw my sword.
Okay, you see she stops and reaches into her bag and begins going, where's my slingshot? God dang it. And starts looking around. It is your turn.
You gotta get a thing on your belt for that.
I don't like to turn to violence, okay? I was kind of hoping these things would talk, and just is like, we don't want to negotiate. This floating ball just, it can talk. It just doesn't want to be nice.
It's just unwilling, yeah.
I'm gonna suck your soul out. It just lightning crackling around it.
I leap forward and try and slice through this ball of light with my new Dragon Slayer short sword.
That's right, the sword that you had exchanged your hammer for. You brandish it and swing outward. Go ahead and roll an attack.
Ooh, oh yeah. 23.
That's gonna hit. This thing has a high AC, but you beat it.
Oh, nice. And max damage. That's gonna be 11.
11 damage?
I rolled a 6 on my d6 and I have +5.
I'll tell you right now, it is a being of light and necromancy, but it is bloodied. You cut it basically down for size. Part of the light just kind of dissipates. It goes, what the hell? Just like whispers in anger.
As it's reacting, I kind of marvel at the blade in my hand. I look at Clover and I go, now that's pretty nice.
Maybe you can keep it long term. I don't know what the loaning policy is on that one. It looks pretty rare, though.
Maybe you can run.
It is now Clover's turn. You know what? She's not doing anything new. She knows that you guys are trying to be more mobile. She knows that if you take this creature out, you're still surrounded by other ones in the distance. So she's going to cast Long Strider on you again, which boosts your speed by 10 feet.
Excellent.
So you now have essentially her movement speed, and when you run, you'll be both moving 60 feet per round. Not fast enough to evade these creatures if they catch you. If they lock onto you, you know you're in trouble, but if you can dispatch this one fast enough, you might be able to get away.
Okay.
I'm gonna call my friends.
Just die.
Just die.
We hate to say it, but just die.
I'm not normally like this, but we gotta get somewhere.
Something tells me they eventually reform maybe after a little bit or something.
You can't defeat us.
That is now going to be its turn. A shock of lightning shoots out at you. It's gonna roll an attack. That is a natural 20.
Oh no.
So it is gonna deal double damage to you.
That's so bad.
That's really bad, I'm not gonna lie to you. Here we go. Okay, so I have bad news. This creature shoots this lightning towards you and deals 20 damage as you literally like you can see your full goblin skeleton. Clover goes, Jess! And yells out just out of fear, which you hear echo throughout the woods.
I'm okay!
It's been a while since you've been electrocuted, but you do remember one time Professor Bob and Quizen accidentally, wink, hitting you with a lightning bolt when you were not out of the way. It is your turn again. You are feeling very injured. What do you do?
That fucking hurt! I lash out again with my sword.
You swing. Go ahead and roll an attack.
That's only a 12 to hit.
You swing out, but this creature darts above your blade.
Seeing it dodge my attack, I go, God damn it, I'm gonna take the nimble escape, disengage bonus action, and sprint using the help of Clover's Long Strider, so I'll get, 30 feet away from it.
Yeah, you as it shoots up, you slide underneath it and rush, kind of getting a different angle. Clover goes, Jazz, as it now crackles and turns its attention towards her.
Sorry, Clover, I'm gonna die if I get another hit, and I genuinely could die permanently. I have 4 hit points left.
We can do this. And you see in the distance those lights now have turned towards you. They're still very far away, but it looks like they've been attracted by the noise. Clover goes, come on, we can do this. And is going to cast Healing Word at a 2nd level now that she is a level 3 bard. And you get back 2d4 plus 4, which is 9 HP.
As I sprint past her, I feel like her paw graze the side of my arm. And I'm expecting for her to hold me back because she's scared, but instead I just feel this like life force filling through me, and I'm reinvigorated to take a stand with her.
Your instinct to flee and get a new position was a smart one, but you remember that your teammate, partially by her own fault for not being someone who would turn to violence in this moment, but partially because she is a caring person who wants you to succeed, is worthy of your defense. And so you turn, you spin around. This creature is going to attack her, but you now see that its focus is drawn on her and not on you, giving you a slight edge. It rolls an attack. That's a natural 13 plus its bonus of 4, so 17, which does hit Clover. And it deals 11 damage to Clover. Clover is looking hurt. I will tell you right now, she has 8 HP.
Okay.
As it shocks her, she goes, ah! Falls to the ground to one knee. She looks up at it and looks at you and then gives you a confident nod. It is your turn.
As I see Clover fall to the ground in front of me, I feel this fury fill me, and I turn around reinvigorated with my sword and say, "That's my coworker!" And I'm going to Hunter's Mark. I point my finger at it and lay this curse upon it, a power that Jassifer has never used or felt before, but something about my determination in this moment, I feel like this creature is mine to kill.
You zero in on this foe. This sort of battle mentality is not unfamiliar to you, but this time it's different. You see a string of fate tying you to this creature, a mark that you can strike to kill it and remove it from this plane. You are no longer simply a warrior. You feel something deeper stirring within you as you draw your blade and ready yourself to strike.
Following that spark of fate like it is like a beacon calling me. That is going to be an 18 to hit.
An 18 just misses. I'm so sorry. The AC is 19. You swing and you see it just barely gets out of the way. And the only reason is because you think that in the same way that when you feel really confident in a physical action, but in the last moment, your brain flickers its focus, you maybe think of the way you're swinging, you try and adjust at the last moment, and it causes you to just miss, but you still see that that spark, that fuse that is spurring towards this creature in your mind, this literal representation of fate magically tying you to this creature and its ending. That is going to now be Clover's turn. Clover goes, "You're close. Finish it off. Maybe we can rest in the van?"
Sure, wherever.
"Let's do this." And she's going to give you one of her last 2 bardics.
Amazing.
So you get a D6 on your next roll.
Beautiful.
And then she's going to look up at it and go, "Hey, you stupid ball of light. You quit it. You just quit it now. This is not, you sound like a child. This is no way to behave. We are your elders. We deserve some respect."
I look at Clover like she's fucking insane. I'm like, "You really think that's gonna work against a ball of light?"
This ball of light turns to Clover, momentarily distracted, giving you an advantage on your next attack.
You're not my mom. You're not the boss of me.
As it's kind of having this moment with Clover, it is going to try and attack her.
Okay.
That is a 3. This arc of lightning shoots out, but she manages to hop up over it. It explodes into the muck, leaving this smell of ozone in the air. But she lands and goes, "Miss me," and you're right behind it, ready to swing. It is now your turn.
2 hands on my sword, I try and drive it down right through the center of it. Yes, that's a 21 to hit.
That hits.
My Hunter's Mark is going to give me an extra D6 damage. So I'm going to roll 2d6 plus 5. That's 9 damage total. raising my sword and swinging it down through this light, I watch the particles separate for a moment, and then it seems like they're gonna come back together, kind of like magnetically, like atoms being drawn back together, and I tilt my arms, and then I do a second slice across, essentially like quartering it so that all of its atoms of light are like scattered out as I use my first divine smite to deal 2d8 extra radiant damage for an extra 10 radiant damage.
This blast of divine light explodes outwards. The photons scatter as this will-o-wisp is dissipated, and literally the fog around you like clears in a 10-foot radius just from the force that comes from this insane blow. You even see in the distance the will-o-wisp stop in place, almost shocked at this display and recognizing the source of this power. You hold there for a moment as the will-o-wisp fades and the fog begins to roll in again.
A nap in the van sounds good. I glance at this sword and flex my hands like I don't know where that came from, and just tail it past Clover into the darkness.
The two of you charge off into the darkness, away from this will-o-wisp's corpse, so to speak, away from the threat of these will-o-wisps, rushing further and further until your lungs are feeling like they're going to burst. Go ahead and give me another stealth check. You have your bardic if you want to add that. I will tell you right now, the DC is going to be 12. That is the passive perception of these creatures.
Brilliant. With my disadvantage on stealth, I rolled 2 12s, making my total 16.
You rush off into the darkness.
And moving with speed, fleeing the scene of whatever the fuck that was.
The long strider spell rushing you forward, which you honestly think might just, like, in your head, you don't necessarily know there's a spell cast on you. You just feel like the adrenaline of that moment, and you just keep rushing. Clover in tow as you find her. She catches up to you and has her scry phone out, this like crystalline device. It's like tapping on it, and you hear like ping, ping, ping. There! She kind of leads you and guides you through the forest, and with your dark vision, you manage to see the shadow of your beaten-to-shit company van wedged in the mud,
I
untouched,
forgot it's all fucked up.
but therefore very stuck in the mud.
I do the thing where I run forward and I'm like jiggling the car door before the driver has unlocked it.
She's like trying to unlock it, and you keep on jiggling. Hold on, wait.
It won't open.
Wait, you have to wait. I can't unlock it if you're trying to open it. Wait.
I put my hands up and then put them on my knees and kind of take a deep breath as I'm hearing the car click behind me and like thinking, what was that? I have never had any kind of magical power, and in fact have kind of insisted on never learning any, because it's not my wheelhouse, and it's not the division I was placed in at birth, and it's not my family's legacy.
And your enemies love to use magic.
Right, yeah. I think the goblins like used some probably healing magic and engineering and building magic, but smiting enemies on a battlefield, despite how light this magic seemed, it felt too powerful. I think it spooked me.
It shocks you to see yourself create such a feat of strength that is so different from the many other feats that you've pulled off in your extended career as an adventurer. But eventually, you hear the door unlock, you tear open the van, she hops in it as well, sticks the keys in, and slams her foot on the brakes. It's like pressing various buttons. She has to roll a proficiency check to get this thing unstuck from the mud, like essentially to reverse out without, just spinning the wheels a ton. That was the main issue you guys were dealing with. It's going to be a DC 15. If there's anything you think that you can do to help her, now's the chance.
I'm going to pop out the manual that I took from my pack and kind of go to like the inclement weather section, and I'll just be kind of like giving her coaching, being like, it says try to turn the wheels, away from the trough that we've created, just kind of guiding her through it step by step so she's not just like button mashing. Turn the wheel. No, the other way.
She literally rolled a natural 20. So finally, she hits the wheel just right, and you guys like roar backwards, crunching through like bushes and broken tree branches until you wheel back enough. She goes, "Oh shit! Oh, hold on! I'm sorry. Hold on!" And like slows down.
You got it.
And begins to like train the wheel so that you can turn around again and get fully back on track. You see Goo clinging to you, like peers out, and she looks and goes, "Thanks. I appreciate your help."
Nice job with the freaking emerald, Goo. I squish my finger into it, just kind of retaliatory squish.
Just like, just literally splatters against you and then hides back in your armor. Hey, now, he was trying his best.
Yeah, his best is not good enough.
Interesting tactic. Anyways, what was that back there? That was quite a feat.
I don't know, something wrong with the stupid sword that Odessa gave me.
Yeah. She eyes the sword that you've now sheathed and looks to you and goes, "All right, well, maybe we get a little bit further out these woods, get some more distance between us and whatever's roaming around out here, and then take a little rest."
How long do we have now?
Well, we arrived at Zuria's lair like essentially dusk, so if we get a full night's rest, we'd still have probably about 12 hours.
Okay. And how are you feeling? You're injured.
I'm fine. You see that like her fur is like static electricity. She's like puffed out a little bit. She looks like, there's some soot marks, and you could tell that her muscles probably feel a little bit sore from having that jolt of lightning flow through them. But you think that maybe if you guys just take the time to like rest, you guys would both be okay.
Here, you shouldn't drive while you're hurt. And I'm gonna reach out and give her the rest of my lay on hands pool, which is just 5 more hit points.
That is very helpful.
Actually, you know what? I'm so sorry. I'm gonna give her 1 less than that. So I'll just keep 1 lay on hands on me, just in case.
She is at 12 HP now.
I just kind of reach forward to pull like a bramble out of like the fur on her long ears and feel this kind of, almost like without my permission, this like kind healing magic pouring out of me, and I like clamp down on it at the last minute because I'm afraid that I'm going to run out of it or what it's going to do to her. I don't know.
Thanks. That actually feels a lot better.
I don't know what you're talking about. I look out the window.
She eyes you again and continues to drive through the woods. Takes a bit of time, but eventually you see the canopy above begins to thin out. You begin to actually see these strange, like, yellow ochre skies with the twinkling stars, this strange, colorful world. What do you think is going through Jass's mind right now after having such an intense experience?
I think Jass is missing when things were simpler. And now she has to make choices, and she's used to making calls, battle calls. But she, I think, feels a little bit lost and like on unsure footing.
You see Clover is occasionally looking over at you and like checking in, but seems to be trying to give you space, sees that you're really processing what's going on in your life. This is all still very fresh. Just like a little more than 24 hours ago, you were fighting the enemy. You were dead.
That too.
You were fighting your arch foe, and then you were dead. So literally, like, only essentially, like, almost 2 days have passed total, and you keep on occasionally getting that, like, wave of realization whenever you have a moment of quiet in your mind, whenever you're not having to, like, act out of survival, you are dragged back into what has happened to you, and you hear in the distance those whispers, the corners of your mind. But you shake your head and block them out. Eventually, Clover kind of slows down the vehicle when you guys seem to be out of the woods, so to speak, but still within cover. All right, I think that maybe we rest in the van tonight, put some leaves and shit on it, leaves and stuff on it, and camouflage it a bit, rest here, and then head into town when the time comes.
You afraid to say shit, Clover?
I just think that those kind of words are... Well, the nasty words don't need to be said, and if you could say something else instead, why wouldn't you?
You're gonna have really polite children. I open the door and I'll start gathering some, leaves and muck to camouflage the van.
You guys together work and cover it in mud and branches, and it's kind of tucked amongst some trees. You've pulled it off the path that you had been driving on to get into the woods. And within, 30 or so minutes, it looks pretty well hidden, at least from like a passerby. And with that, you guys get back in the van. You see Clover locks it, looks at the back and goes, I think we can fit a bedroll back there. We can take shifts, or we can just rest now and hope that no one finds us, whatever you think.
Yeah, let's put down the back seats and we can kind of make a little bit of a nest, and we can take shifts watching. I'll take the first one.
Okay, I'll rest first. She puts her seats down and lays out her bedroll. You see she gets in it and cuddles up and looks over and goes, thanks again. You really saved me back there.
Oh, yeah, that's just what I do.
Well, thanks for doing it. Good night.
What's the weirdest color sky you've ever seen? Looking out the front windshield.
To be honest, this one's the first I've ever seen like this. Most of my other jobs were either in dungeons or castles or worlds where it was a simple blue. But this one's different.
Wonder why that is.
Nothing is as wild as the starry skies of forever, though.
I guess I'll have to explore when we're back.
I think there's something for everyone there.
Think Jassifer's silent at that. She doesn't know what's there for her yet.
Some time passes and you begin to hear the light snoring of Clover. And you take first watch. Thankfully, it is uneventful. Occasionally you see like lumbering beasts in the distance, and even occasionally the glowing light of perhaps a will-o-wisp, but you just stay quiet, keep watch.
I put my feet up on the dashboard and I'm, taking looks around, but I think I'm also flipping through the van manual, kind of, searching for, looking at some of the technical information, but I think Jassifer is interested mostly in its teleportation abilities. Even though she knows she's stuck here for now, she's got this kind of small thought shaking around in the back of her mind that is how am I going to eventually get home?
Why don't you give me an intelligence check, just as you analyze this? Proficiency obviously takes many successful checks, but this could be the first.
I am sure that I'm going to have to read this for quite a while. I figure I'll be working on this for a bit. That's a 13 to start.
That's a success. Over 10, I'll say that you are one step closer to understanding how this vehicle works and how one would operate it. Eventually, you see that it's probably pretty late in the evening. We're getting to 3, 4 a.m. Dawn is approaching. You wake up Clover, and she, still very, very tired, nods, rubbing her eyes, and gives you a nod to head in the back seat and take your nap.
Okay, yeah, I clamber into the back and I kind of gently wake her and let her have a couple minutes of getting used to being awake, and then I'll take my nap.
Your eyes close and then open, and you've already rested. It feels like you just blinked and the time passed, but you see Clover kind of leaning back over the seat going, hey, wake up. We should get going.
Yeah, I'm up. All right. I'm going to kind of look out the tall windows that are in the back of the van and wiping some condensation fog away from the inside, see if the sun has risen.
You indeed see that the sun has begun to peek over the horizon, changing this sort of ochre yellow to a more warm, bright, almost sunrise color as day greets you and perhaps the end of your adventure draws near. You gather your things and hop back in the front seat. I'll say that Goo kind of slept over your eyes like an eye
I was just
mask.
gonna say, yeah, Goo's a weighted bean mask, kind of. And then I wake up and I can only see red, and I have to pop it off of me.
Like a fruit roll up, you peel off Goo and shake him out, and then he kind of snaps back into his original form.
You are so gross.
just making weird fart noises. As Clover puts the car into drive and you guys continue to head out.
I stick goo in the cup holder, by the way. When we're driving in the van, goo's like a slime. When you're a kid, you put slime in the cup holders.
Yeah. These two little gooey, like, flubber arms kind of peer over it and are, like, looking as you guys, like, bouncing and carving through these woods. Eventually, you break out of the sparse foliage you were hidden within and begin to drive down these paths to the main road, the sprawling purple landscape and strange yellow sky above. As you curve through the acid-singed fields, something ahead catches your eye. In front of the Swamp Lily Inn, you see a squadron of Townsguard, all standing there outside, armed and ready. Cinnabar Sapale has met these guards, clearly has stepped out of the inn. You see some other patrons behind her, early risers who had come there for breakfast, now surprised to see the town's guards surrounding them. You see that facing her, in front of these guards, is this handsome older elf with darker, almost orange citrine skin, wearing jewel-toned robes that bear a boar symbol matching the guard of the town. Your van zooms down the road towards this gathering, people's heads turning to look towards the movement and noise. Yeah, we really need to get this thing disguised, don't we?
That would help.
You're able to make out this elf's face. You see like a well-kept goatee with flecks of silver in the darker sort of shaved head, tattoos tracing the edges of his skin in these like geometric patterns. You see an initial look of shock switching to a stern, stoic gaze.
I think that the magistrate is here to see us.
Okay, remain calm. We didn't do nothing wrong, right? Okay. Actually, I'm remembering that you did get into a fight with some guards, allegedly.
It was really, really caused by them, but I can understand that that's probably not going to go over the way that I would want it to.
I think we just need to assume that, like, any form of assaulting a guard is not going to go over well with these people, even if they were the one initiating the fight.
Yeah, it's a bad habit of mine, you're right.
You and Clover begin to slow the vehicle as these Townsguard kind of take up formation, pointing their spears out towards this strange machine that you ride within. Eventually, she slows to a stop, puts it in park, and you see these guards like take a step forward, again, like very terrified of whatever you're in.
I'm gonna reach over. First of all, I crank down the passenger side window, yeah.
Like that, yeah.
And then I reach over and I beep beep, just do like one of those kind of like the polite honk on Clover's horn, and I lean out the window and go, "Let's back up a little bit, gentlemen."
Clover looks at you absolutely like mortified that you just honked her horn. But then you see that because of that, the soldiers do kind of like stop moving forward towards the vehicle and hold in place, and you see, the ginger-haired Cinnabar and her half-elven lover, Epomia, in the front, like, looking to you, confused. The former holding this, like, frying pan defensively. This elvish man steps forward. "Welcome, wizard folk. What brings you to our lovely home of Stinkin's Gout?"
Howdy. Borrowing a word from Clover.
Yeah, you try it out.
I've seen it goes over pretty friendly, so. We are Jassifer and Clover, and we were trying to help your town. I'll hop out of the passenger side.
Clover follows your lead. As soon as you exit out and begin to walk to meet this magistrate, Clover, you see she clearly fiddles with something under the van, preparing it and turning it off, and then hopping out and joining you. You hear the beeping. She uses her scry phone to lock it up, gives you a nod. This wizard kind of regards you. The magistrate tilts his head and squints his eyes. He's not trying to necessarily come off as hostile yet, but you can tell that he does not trust you.
You must be Plumblum.
Magistrate Ammon Plumbum, yes.
Like I mentioned, Jassifer and Clover, just really two travelers coming through, but we had heard rumor that there was some kind of disturbance here, a black dragon.
Give me a deception check, because technically, obviously, you were hired for this job, yeah.
They called me, yeah. I'm gonna not volunteer that info. It is a 15.
With a 19, having rolled with advantage because Plum Blum does have some intel about your arrival, he tilts his head, confused. Well, it was my understanding that you were charged by these, he looks at Cinnabar, good folk to hunt down and kill the black dragon Zuria.
Rumor, contract. We use all sorts of words in the business.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if there was anything official said. We're just helpful wizards. That's just what we are. And this is our wizard mobile. Very normal thing. You probably have one yourself. Cinnabar looks to you and goes, careful. Kind of giving you a warning about how you speak to this man. And the magistrate looks down from his higher stature, down his nose at you. Well? Did you defeat the dragon, Zuria?
No, we spoke with her.
You spoke with her? You spoke with that beast who terrorizes our town? As it murmurs throughout the crowd of people a bit confused. Those of them who know what you were charged with are very, almost disturbed that you would engage with this creature rather than slay it as you had promised.
I put my hands up. Peace, peace. My partner and I don't charge into dragon lairs and just start waving our swords around. Our main goal is making sure that no one in the town is attacked.
We traveled to Zuria to see what was going on and see what we can do to remedy the situation. Right, Jass?
Absolutely, and it does seem like she has been a scourge upon, well, the guards in particular, almost as though she's targeting them for something. I'm gonna look and see if like the guards kind of like shift, or if maybe like it's just Plum Blum who like knows about this egg being stolen. Like,
okay,
is this everyone, or is this a couple of bad eggs?
Give me an insight check.
Okay. 9.
I would say that it's difficult to get a read on this many people all at once. I think that you see the magistrate just like raises an eyebrow curiously at you. Everyone knows that there's some other information that's being withheld here. And you see the magistrate looks to you and goes, speak clearly, goblin.
I love when people give me orders. It's been a long night in the woods with many encounters. I think that my partner and I, we'd love to sit and have a drink and talk a little bit more.
Give me a persuasion check.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna try and like smooth things over, kind of being like, we were attacked, we're tired, let's all discuss this calmly inside. That's gonna be an 11?
Even though that I've been setting the DCs pretty low, I
this
think
guy
that
seems... Yeah.
I think that this guy's maybe a bit too above board, like too locked in to be persuaded into a situation he doesn't have control over. I think that you're essentially like seeing the person who believes that they are fully in control of this town. They are the one in charge. They're the one who makes the decisions about like what's going on. You don't set the terms. He sets the terms. And with that, you see the magistrate crosses his arms and go, no, I think that we can discuss everything right here. And if you don't feel like it, perhaps you can be on your way then and leave this town and its problems to its people and its leader.
I was gonna give him the chance to save some face, but we're happy to speak out here if that's what you prefer. Zuria laid an egg recently, and that egg was stolen by the town's guard. It's our impression after speaking with Zuria that her attacks have increased in magnitude and violence because she seeks her stolen egg. Does anyone here know anything about that?
The moment you bring up this absolutely world-shaking news, there are gasps, there are murmurs, confusion begins to rise from both sides of the crowd, and you see Cinnabar looks at you and goes, be this true?
I don't lie. After I just lied a bunch to them. I never lie.
Epomia clasps her hands over her face. You see Cinnabar pulls her close, and they all look a bit nervous as the magistrate looks around, seeing that he's kind of losing control of this crowd. He goes, Now, an egg? Calm yourselves, everyone. How do we know that these traveling wizards aren't lying? What proof do you have?
I am gonna lift up my shoe and show them the acid worn away sole and how it's kind of eaten and bubbled through the acid. And I say to them, I stood before her and I promised to find her egg. Do you think I'd be standing here before you if she didn't see some purpose for me surviving?
I'm going to say that this is going to be a persuasion check. You're trying to sway the crowd to your side. Plum is going to do an opposing check to persuade them onto his side. He's actually going to use deception, though. You see that he clearly is trying to wrangle the crowd through misinformation. Clover is going to give you advantage by hands on her hips going, we marched deep into that forest. My wellies are damn near ruined. You see her high rain boots are also disintegrated a bit. We did not stare down a dragon to be called liars by some plump bum man or whatever his deal is.
That's a really good one.
Plump bum. Yeah, who wants to chant that? She turns to the crowd.
Well, easy.
Sorry, I got a little overzealous.
They're going to toss us out of here. With my persuasion bonus, that's going to be 16 total.
He rolled a 6. The crowd begins to grow quiet.
Everyone gathers to look at our singed feet.
You see Cinnabar approaches you and looks to your foot and kind of essentially is asking for permission to inspect it further.
Mm-hmm.
And she gets low and looks and goes, they're not lying. They faced Zuria, and they live to tell the tale. Why would they try and mislead us about this? It doesn't make any sense. And you see Plum is looking around. This is outrageous. You choose to believe strangers over me, a magistrate of your king?
Magistrate, please. I'm gonna take my boot out of Cinnabar's grasp, and I don't bow, but I do kind of incline my head a little bit, and I say, we seem to have gotten off on a very confused foot, but ultimately we have the same intention, no? Which is to stop these attacks and protect the townsfolk. We want for you to prosper. Otherwise, why would we be here, right?
Well, if the egg was taken by someone, if there even is an egg, where would it be?
I would imagine that you would know that. Zuria seems convinced that one of your guards escaped with the egg, and we saw others who befell a more unfortunate fate. And I kind of look at some of these guards with sadness in my eyes, maybe try and guilt them a little bit to be your fucking comrades are dead if you're covering for them.
You do see that, especially with that previous persuasion check, a number of the guards have kind of settled out of their more hostile stance. Their spears are less at the ready and more pulled back as they kind of look amongst each other. And you see one of the guards speaks up. You said that all of them were killed. That not a single guard returned from their mission to slay her. And you see Plum go, These charlatans are lying to you all. Do you choose to betray the glorious kingdom of Galore and believe traveling wizards?
I'm going to try and cover for Plum a little bit in an effort to kind of smooth my way with him. I'm going to turn to the guard and say, it's possible that your leader thought that none of the guards escaped. Is there any reason a guard would have defected with Zuria's egg, or perhaps he is still trapped among her tunnels? They seemed many and varied, or hiding out in in the dark forest, we ran into many spirits along the way.
Confusion spreads even further amongst this crowd. People are talking pretty loudly now, trying to parse out what is actually going on. And you see these guards. They do not seem... You don't read on any of their faces, though you did roll pretty low on insight, but you don't read on any of their faces that they're like, we all worked together and we wanted to steal an egg. You know what I mean? Like, you're not seeing like a large chunk of them at least being like, oh shit, they're onto us.
They don't seem to be covering for Plum Blum en masse, yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like, what's going on as well. And you see the magistrate goes, this is ridiculous. If you would like to speak more, perhaps we can return to my manor in town and discuss this in more detail.
Oh, lovely. My original suggestion. Let's do it. You want a ride?
Yet, a ride? In your strange wizard mobile?
Absolutely.
You can get in the back.
Quicker than a misty step.
No, I think I will take my horse back. And you see he climbs onto his steed.
Does the horse stop?
The horse goes, I believe him fully. No.
I always check in D&D.
Always. You never know when it's going to be a talking horse. You see the guards now kind of seeing the chaos of this, try and disperse the crowd as the wizard goes, follow me. Thank you so much for listening.
If you enjoyed the show, please follow us on Spotify or leave a review on Apple Podcasts.
Thank you especially to our Eldritch patrons. If you would like to become an Eldritch patron, go to patreon.com/trynottodiepod. At the $5 tier, you get access to the afterlife. That's right, you get access to heaven or hell, it's up to you, via the exclusive talkback show where we discuss what happened during this arc.
You also get access to a bunch of other bonus content like recipes from the show, polls, and other random stuff we're cooking up.
But if you really want access to a bunch of other full-length episodes, sign up for the $10 tier for the content search where we play out usually canon one-shots, test out new systems, review nerdy media, and really do anything we can to entertain you, our Eldritch patrons.
And of course, a huge thank you to Lore Party, the network that supports us. Lore Party Media is dedicated to celebrating the power of stories that shape who we are. If you enjoy our show, please check out their other shows, which you can see on loreparty.com, or you can just search Lore Party in your favorite podcast streaming platform.
And you can check me out on Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch, all under the username Noah the Infuriator. No spaces, just Noah the Infuriator.
While you're at it, hit up my socials too, Lease vs. Life, that's Lease vs. Life. Follow me on TikTok, and then while you're at that, follow Try Not to Die Pod on TikTok too, where we post clips of the show.
Thank you again for listening, and until next time, try not to die. Patrons, especially Andrew, Anita, Ashley, Becca B, Bugroots, Colleen, Colin, Ian, Alana, Emily, Grace, Hope, Jacob, James, Jeff, Joey, Karen, Kate, Katie, Leo, May, Morgan, Paige, Patrick, Sahara, Timmy, and of course, our producer Patty, Patrick Bronstetter, and producer Daddies, Drew Bailey, Sam Golden, Becca Mount, and Rose Evelyn Campbell. We thank you for these podcasting powers and promise to raise hell in your names. Till next time, try not to die.